All right. Mics are on. The glass will soon be full. Your glass is full, though.
My glass is full.
This is Craft Beer Ballers. And this is a Craft Beer Ballers quarantine edition of the
Yes.
Craft Beer Ballers. We haven't recorded in a while, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Just here live from the garage. It's Saturday evening.
Yep, yeah, that's right. It's like Saturday, yeah, a little after 6. Um, Although it feels like, as I've heard said many times, it feels like it's all sort of running together, and that like it's almost kind of like the significance of the fact it's Saturday. It's like, oh, okay, so what's the difference from Tuesday and Saturday? Which I don't necessarily fully believe that it's not exactly that way, but it is a little like I went to a grocery store today. That's about the highlight of my day. And
hmm
like when I get done with this, I'm going to eat dinner and watch a movie. That's about it. You know.
Yeah, I picked up some Cuban food from a restaurant for the family for dinner and played. I couldn't even play with Jacob really outside today because it was rainy.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. It rained pretty hard here for a while. It's kind of clear. It's kind of cleared up since then. Which was kind of weird too. It's like with all this stuff going on, you forget that there is like normal weather patterns.
hmm
Like
oh yeah,
thunderstorms do
we're getting
happen.
into the rainy season. It's going to be getting rainy every day soon. So.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell that you have filled your glass. Why don't you share with the audience whatever you're drinking?
All right. Well, I am drinking a Edmonds Oast. Edmonds Oast Brewing. They
Nice.
are out of Charleston, South Carolina, and this is the cereal for dinner. Cereal for dinner is a blonde ale. I can read it off the can, but I kind of know this too. It's a blonde ale with lactose, almonds, vanilla, and coconut.
That's a lot
So
of flavor.
obviously, what's up?
It's a lot of flavor.
There's a lot of flavor and a lot of flavor, and it's stuff that you wouldn't typically see in a blonde ale. Those are more kind of obviously reserved for more like your darker beers.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's
Light
also
on
leaves the palate,
ABV.
leaves the
What's up?
palate open for the flavors to come through.
Yeah, yeah, Mm.
I got you.
Light on ABV. I taste a lot of coconut, kind of like almost like a roasty, like a toasted coconut flavor. A
hmm
little bit of vanilla. It's actually pretty good. It's weird though, because beers like that have these type of flavors and the lactose don't tend to be kind of like light and semi-refreshing.
Right.
And it's kind of like a lighter flavor to it. It's not. It's good. I would
They're
like it.
also they're frequently what I call 4 ounce good. Like,
No, this will go down. This is definitely 16-ounce good. It's
okay.
tasty. It's not. There's nothing. There's no off flavors that are kind of like whatever that'll get annoying. It's just it would probably be nice if it was a little heavier. I expected even as a blonde ale to be a little heavier. This is actually pretty light, and I think it's like 4.5 or something like that. So it's good. I mean, I'm tasting lots of coconut, lots of, and a lot of the reviews don't say that, but I think it's very present in this beer, and almond.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what, Kevin? What are you drinking?
One of our old classics here. We've got the
Mm,
Sierra Nevada
torpedo.
Torpedo Extra IPA, and I educated myself today because I've had this several times, and I wanted to know, well, why they call it torpedo.
Okay.
And they classify this as extra IPA. To me, it's basically just it's an IPA, but it's essentially a dry hopped IPA through Sierra Nevada, out of Chico, California. Their process for the torpedo, and essentially what it is while the wort's in the fermenter. I say wort because I don't know if they actually ferment the wort into a beer and then change fermenters, because they actually have a dry hop system where the hops are in like this container that's outside the fermenter, and what they're doing is just constantly circulating either
Hmm.
the beer or the wort
Yeah.
straight through this thing, and they can actually adjust the flavor and the aroma by the speed and the duration that it actually goes through the hop system. So they're basically just constantly
Okay.
pulling. I'm just going to assume it's on a single fermenter, because I don't know if it's first fermented and transferred to another fermenter that has this cone on the outside. But if it's in a single fermenter, that means that as soon as the wort goes in, it just starts cycling through this exterior item that has a whole bunch. It's like a chamber of hops,
Okay. Oh wow.
and they're circulating the wort through the chamber constantly. And maybe it makes like a whirlpool. Maybe that's why they call it torpedo.
I
I
call
don't
it
really know.
torpedo. Okay.
I'm
As
just
a
coming to some of my own conclusions, trying to understand more about the process. But
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say this for what I would call like a mass distributor. Sierra Nevada does make pretty good, consistent quality product.
Yeah. Yes, they do. I don't know that I've had a beer from Sierra that I didn't like.
I,
Um,
I think they have a pretty strict distribution quality process, is what I would imagine.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there probably I'm sure there's things I like better than others,
Yeah.
but literally I don't know if there's a beer that I've had because I've had Torpedo. I really
Mhm.
like it. Of
But
course, the
I've also never had one that I said, "Wow, that was the best of something I've ever had."
no,
Hmm.
no, not really. And I don't, and honestly, I think I don't know if they strive for that. I think
They
they
probably don't.
honestly, yeah, I think they just want to make good, lots and lots of good beer that you can get
Hmm.
that has the same level of quality whether you're in Maine, Tampa, or out there
Correct.
in California.
Or Chico, California.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that if they can accomplish that, which more times than not they do, then that's like a win.
Probably so. This
Yeah,
one's pretty nice. I mean, malt level, as you can see, when you put it in the glass, because most of the time it's drinking out of a bottle, but you see the malt level on it. It was caramel malt with two row pale, and the most of the hop related to it was going to be Citra Magnum and Crystal.
yeah,
So
okay,
Citra comes through. Again, that's just me. When I taste Citra hops and something, I feel like that's almost all I taste.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so overall, it's pretty solid. I think it's a very flexible IPA
yeah,
because you can kind
okay,
of drink it by itself. You can probably have it with most food items. It'd be
yeah,
okay with a steak. It'd be okay with anything off the grill. Would be okay with it. You could
yeah,
do a
yeah,
hot dog with it, I guess, if you wanted to.
yeah, yeah. I could see that. I could see that. With the cereal for dinner. It because it's not a darker beer. You can still obviously have it with sweets. It's a little different. It's not. It's like lights. It's actually not super sweet. It's like because toasted coconut is not like super sweet. Not really.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's coconut.
Right.
I mean, little Debbie cakes are probably fine. I you could obviously you could do the whole typical cookie thing or the donut thing, but the flavors don't directly lend to it. So you'd almost have to do something with that's either nutty or coconutty to
Okay.
to to get the maximum out of it.
What about like a dry cereal, like Cinnamon Toast Crunch or
Probably so. Or frosted flakes, maybe.
Frosted Mini Wheats, maybe
Yeah,
too?
yeah, yeah. Something like that would probably work with this. I see Edmonds Oast a lot, but you could tell it's the type of brewery that obviously it's Charleston. It's here, so they're distributing obviously, but you only
Mhm.
really see it in Total. This I actually bought from ABC on Gandy. Um, you only see it in those type of places. You don't
Yep.
really, yeah, you don't see them everywhere. They're not in Publix
It's not
or
gonna, yeah, it's not gonna be like at your easy to find retail distribution. It's gonna be your more specialized distribution.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And they make a lot of stuff actually. So I have a look at some of the other things that they make. Because there's a like in the ABC alone, which like our ABC down here is I actually I think is just an okay ABC as far as ABCs go. I think the one on
Hmm.
Kennedy is a lot better. Um, but they had like three or four different brands from Edmonds Oast. So this is the one I liked. So I was most intrigued by. So I would say it's worth a try. It would be interesting when we do get back together to actually do a review on some of their beers because they are out there. Um, I would say this is because it's funny. This is an active thing because I was actually drinking it. It's okay.
Hmm.
It's okay. It's
Yeah. That would be something that if we were at the brewery and they had it on the board, obviously it'd be intriguing to taste it. But my guess is they probably have beer there that's probably better than that.
Probably. I would imagine so. I would imagine probably this is probably if they're a pretty solid brewery, this is probably somewhere in the middle
Hmm.
of what they're good. Not the worst that you can get from them, but probably not like the best either. So I'd
And
actually be
I wouldn't think of Charleston as like a Like, oh yeah, while we're there, let's make sure we hit the breweries. Like, I wouldn't even think about breweries in Charleston.
Well, yeah. Charleston, and so first of all, Charleston is like one of my absolute favorite places. But Charleston is kind of like a New Orleans
Mhm.
in a lot of ways. It's not as crazy wily as New Orleans is.
I would
Um,
think more like a Savannah. I would think.
it's closer to Savannah because it's closer to Savannah, but they also, but both port towns, New
Mhm.
Orleans and Charleston, high level food, like extremely high level food. Now, New Orleans is the best, obviously. Like New Orleans is the best. There's
Well, I
no
mean,
better food.
they have the style that we like. I mean, Charleston's going to be probably more traditional Southern.
Yeah, low country, little more seafoody, but they also and a little more southern because they're a little more like Charleston's more like a little almost like the biscuits and gravy
Hmm.
like type of aesthetic where New Orleans, if you really think about it, it's not like a biscuits and gravy type thing really,
Right.
and
I mean,
so
you can get that there. I mean, you can go to the right places and you can get that type of stuff in New Orleans. But I think obviously Cajun would be Creole. You're going to see things more like that in New Orleans. It's going to be a little more specialized there.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Savannah had some things that reminded me of New Orleans a little bit, but
yeah,
it kind of feels like it might even be like a bridge between the two because I could see it also being very much more along the ways of Charleston.
yeah.
Still haven't been to Charleston yet, but I can imagine what it would be like.
I highly recommend it. Like highly, like it's Charleston's so good. Like it's different. I like New Orleans better ultimately because this New Orleans is just so much richer
It's
in
its own
terms.
experience.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
it's like
everything.
when something's bad in New Orleans, it's still like well that's New Orleans for you.
Yeah, right, right. But
It's like hey we got a
Charleston,
story to tell now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, right. But Charleston is it's for if it's a foodie town for sure. Charleston is a little more. It's a little cleaner than New Orleans. It's
That's not saying much.
yeah, it's significantly safer, like
And also not saying much.
way safer. Like
Hmm.
you can
Well,
walk the
Savannah
street.
was that way too. Savannah, like historic Savannah, so much different than New Orleans.
Well, yeah, because and in both cases, with Charleston and Savannah, the historic areas are actually kind of like richy, nice areas of town,
Mhm.
like the nicest parts of
It,
town.
it's like the New Orleans version of the Garden District.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that. Whereas, where New Orleans is all historic, and the Garden District's nice. French Quarter's not that nice. Stuff in the middles, it's weird. And it's one block nice, one block gets stabbed. And so, and Charleston's not like that at all. Like Charleston's like real nice. Charleston's kind of
Mhm.
expensive actually.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I'd be down to go. Yeah, it's hasn't been at the top of my list. It's not what I would call a gluten friendly destination.
oh no,
So
it's completely,
so that
completely,
creates some issues
yeah,
with
yeah,
us here. I think I would rather go to Austin maybe first before I go to Charleston, but I'd like
yeah.
to hit both.
I've never been to Austin. I like to go. I hear good things about Austin. I hear just it's a fun place. I wonder a little bit, like now, have I aged out of Austin?
I don't think so. I think it would be. I think you and I would go there, and it would be. We want to hit these specific breweries while we're there. We want to make sure that we talk to these people, and we're going to hit these restaurants, and then the rest of it we'll kind of just fill in with whatever.
Yeah,
I think it would probably be. It'd probably be very similar to as if we were to go to Asheville.
yeah,
It's like a bigger city version of Asheville is what I would kind of expect it.
yeah, 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 yeah. That makes sense. That does make sense.
Which I would say
Uh,
both are on my list. I would like to go to Asheville and Austin probably before I would pick Charleston, but I would totally do Charleston. And I
yeah,
love
yeah.
Savannah. I would do Savannah again. I was surprised how much I liked Savannah.
Savannah's fun. Savannah's the difference. Okay, so Savannah's fun. Charleston is in essence kind of a bigger Savannah. Like
Hmm.
Savannah's fun, but Savannah's small. It's that
Hmm.
little
Yeah,
area. What's up?
yeah. What's the thing about Savannah is you don't need to be there for like a week to get the experience. You can probably
Nah,
do it in 3 days.
nah. We used to do it like weekend.
Mhm.
Because Savannah's very. That's what the whole thing with Charleston too. They're very accessible from Atlanta. Like
Mhm.
they literally just hop on the highway one way or the other way to get to both. And so, yeah, Savannah is more like a weekend. Find a nice place. If you can get into kind of that nicer part of it, do that. And then we went like, God, I'm old. We went pre Uber
Mhm.
to Savannah to
Yeah.
both actually Uber and to Savannah and Charleston pre Uber. Like now I can't
Well,
even
like
imagine.
honestly, in Savannah, unless you're gonna leave the historic area, you don't really need an Uber in Savannah. Like it's totally you can walk the whole area.
Yeah. Savannah, you can. Charleston, parts of it you can, but Charleston's bigger. But Savannah, you can pretty much like if you were to stay like by the river, you can even stay on the river. You can stay by it. You probably pretty much can hit all of Savannah.
Yeah.
Everything you want to hit.
And if you're gonna stay in Savannah, if you're gonna stay in historic Savannah, you pretty much are near the river almost no matter where you go.
Pretty much. Charleston's kind of like that, but Charleston's bigger. Charleston's got more spots, like more neighborhoods that you can hit. They're kind of
Okay.
similar, but all the like the entertainment restaurant stuff in Charleston's all in one part of Charleston, and the rest of it's more like historic stuff. Like
Okay.
big churches,
Mhm.
the Citadel, and then like if you want it to hit, you want to go to like a plantation or something like that. All that stuff is like that's outside of Charleston. So,
I,
which,
that makes sense. They need space and land. I don't have a lot of interest in going to plantations, I guess, unless there's beer there or something. But
yeah,
I guess
yeah,
if you're a family and it's like, generations ago we owned land out here. I want to go see that plantation.
yeah, like shit, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. So that, but they're both all good. I the only reason why okay, so like because I've been to Charleston, I would pick Asheville or Charleston because I haven't been to Asheville yet.
Hmm.
But I ultimately think Charleston's better than Asheville. Uh, Austin and Charleston, I think, are comparable. Austin, I think, is bigger. So that there's
Could be.
that. It's bigger. So
But I think if we did Asheville, I think you and I would love it because that almost sounds like a city built for us. It's literally
Asheville, I
nothing.
want that. Yeah,
It's nothing but like breweries and restaurants, from what I understand. So it
yeah,
sounds like it would. The whole point would be just to go there and partake.
yeah. Everybody I've known who's gone to Asheville to visit is like in love with it, like
Hmm.
glowing about it. Nothing negative about it. It's
Hmm.
all like I had a coworker went. It's probably I think beginning of football season last season for like a girls' weekend or something like that, and like which is random, kind of like this is like you think that's the beer and all that other stuff, but she loves beer and all that stuff, and all her girls did too, and they said they best time ever. So
Hmm.
Charleston's, I mean not Charleston, Asheville is awesome.
It sounds like a adults version. It's like an adults Las Vegas without gambling.
Yeah, and without like kind of that like glitzy bull BS,
Right.
like yeah. I would yeah, Asheville is like high on the list, like that, like a place just because like I said I haven't been there yet, so that's a big one.
Well, we got to work to
Austin's
remedy that.
yeah. Well, when the COVID ends, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
we want to be able to go to the restaurants and go to the breweries and not feel like we're just getting crowders and leaving.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
I'm
Yeah,
sure you can get a deal on a place to stay right now, but that's where like majority of your trip would be. So
yeah. That's I mean, I told someone that the other day too. I think I actually told Sharice that. I was like, man, I bet you could get really cheap
oh,
travel anywhere right now.
super cheap,
Like
super cheap.
nice places, like anywhere you want it.
Yeah,
You
because
basically have to hang.
you're staying in the room the whole time you're there. So of course.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, so I've thought about that once. I'm like, if I really just wanted to get away, I just like, just rent a room at the beach somewhere. I won't be able to go to the beach, I guess, but I can look out on it.
Well, down here I think they reopened the beaches, but I don't know exactly what that means. I'm sure there's regulations and things involved.
I don't know the news. If things change every day, like that whole
Yeah,
thing with the schools, like that literally happened. Like
yeah, it's
I
like
was
2 hours
on,
ago.
yeah, like I was on Tampa Bay Times like earlier today, right? And nothing about it, whatever. You know, grocery store, whatever. Go to bike ride at Harper, and then like my phone started blowing up. I'm like, what just happened? Like what the hell?
Hmm.
So yeah, things are changing fast. You know, breaking news. You know.
Breaking news. What else you got in your fridge? I know we texted the other day when I was drinking the raspberry drip.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, before we do it, tell me about the raspberry drip. I'm literally like, I might have to go to
I'll
probably
go pick up
Ybor probably is
I'll go pick up an
closer.
extra. I was thinking about it the other day. I'll go pick up an extra 4 pack. It's probably good enough to have more of. Um, it's nice. It's big. I'm not gonna call it girthy, but it's definitely got some body to it. And I remember when I was talking to so when you go there now, it's literally like where the host is. It's basically someone there selling beer.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And so I asked them, I'm like, what kind of body did it have? And their expectation or their explanation was, well, not as much as they were thinking it would have, but that it's still pretty good. And to
yeah.
tell you the truth, when I had it, it's got some body. It's definitely a very different viscosity than what I'm drinking right now.
Okay.
Um, I would say just nice, dark, rich, big tan head. Um, I was eating fudge with it. I wanted something. I wanted
Yeah,
something rich after I got it, and I probably went too rich. Um, you could probably just go with. You could probably go with like a chocolate Rice Krispie treat. To tell you the
yeah,
truth,
yeah,
like not like chocolate on the outside, but like the actual like chocolate flavor Rice Krispie.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can tell I have a toddler when I know there's a difference between a normal Rice Krispie treat and that one.
I
Um,
I'm right here with you. I am
but
well
it,
aware.
it's good. It's got big body. The raspberry comes through a little bit, not like it's not over the top, but I mean I like raspberry, so it definitely
Yeah, me too.
doesn't hurt anything. Slight bit of richness, acidity, I think is coming from the coffee. Little bit of caramelly, but that could just be the malt profile that provides the caramel type of taste or flavor or afternote.
Okay.
I mean, overall, I'd say it's good. I think it's really good.
Hmm.
Um, the beer that I picked is one of my top beers I had for the year, like 3 or 4 years ago, when I was out in Oregon.
I remember.
And
Yeah.
that was a blend of a Russian Imperial with a raspberry sour.
Yeah, yeah,
There's parts of it that remind me of that, but I don't think it touches that one. I think that one was still superior.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but this is good, and this is definitely what I would call worth buying a 4 pack for. And I'm even wondering, I kind of want to just age one and just see. Although
yeah,
it's got so much flavor added to it, I don't really know if you're going to be able to get enough like smoothness out of aging it. It may not matter. Um,
yeah.
I will say this: if I could find some place that had it on nitro, that would probably be worth a trip just for that.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. That yeah, I someone else on Instagram mentioned someone I connect with a lot on Instagram mentioned that beer too, specifically
Mm-hmm.
right about the same time you were mentioning that you're getting it, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's like okay, that's why I've been kind of like I've been intrigued by it. It sounds good actually.
It is.
Sounds doesn't
It's not.
sound bad.
It's
Yeah.
it's worth it's worth just getting another 4 pack of it just to have it. So
Hmm.
I got to make a trip out there for that. I'll try to do it this week. They had several 4 packs there, so I got to try to see if I can just go out there and just get another one. I've got
Okay.
3 cans left right now. It's I mean it's big in terms of ABV. It's like 12.5%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not holding back very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. That's solid. Yeah. No
Um,
kidding.
probably if it's not the best, it's among the 2 or 3 best TBBC beers I've ever had.
Really.
Mhm.
Really. TBC is another one that I
I
feel
think they're
that
underrated. I think their stuff
underrated.
is good.
And I feel like I very rarely have a beer from them that I'm absolutely like, man, that is great. Like, there's one I can think of that I was kind of like, yeah, not the best, and they hyped it pretty high, but it wasn't bad beer. It just wasn't all that great. Like, they had a strawberry beer,
Hmm.
I think, like maybe 2 years ago.
Hmm.
That was, and I feel like it was out around the time of the beer fest. Because
Hmm.
I think I had one the morning of the beer fest. So, but everything else is pretty good. Like I don't like literally. I don't think there's a thing I've had. And I'll
They
go
do
to the
a good
tasting room.
job. They do a really good job of focusing on what the high-end beer drinker wants and making sure that they have something there to account and accommodate that person. But they also take beers like you were just describing, which sounds like they're trying to sell more to the complete novice beer
Yeah,
drinker. But I think their focus is always on making sure they have something, or even the majority of their product, I think, is about something that people who really appreciate
yeah,
beer and make decisions about beer that we make sure that we sell to them.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
they're doing
Exactly.
it the right way. From a corporate version, they're doing it the right way.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, because you think about like, okay, so there's the tasting room experience, and then there's the fact that you can get all their beers at every place where you can buy beer, like
Right.
every place. Like matter of fact, you ask what's in my fridge right now. It's actually Old Elephant Foot.
Yeah, and I love that. OE is great.
Oh yeah,
You know, at the fest that we went to, I just got a glass full of that with lunch because I was like, well, I know I like this.
yeah,
This will go. This will
exactly.
go.
Yeah, yeah. It's always
Yeah.
solid because there's like a little corner store about a mile from our house, and they sell like Cuban sandwiches and stuff like
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
hot plates,
Yep.
like that. And so they have craft beer.
Yep.
So yeah, and not a great selection. It's typical BS, but they do have Oldie, which not every place sells Oldie.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I was like, well, all right, I'm gonna pay a little bit more for it because it's a corner store, but
Hmm.
yeah, so it's good. That's what I have. But like they do that stuff really well. Reef Donkey was a top 5 beer for me like 2 years ago because
Hmm.
it was the one normal people beer that I was drinking the hell out of, and it's really good. If you go to the tasting room, you get a lot of stuff that you just can't get anywhere else.
Yes.
Like
And,
they,
and a lot of that stuff is not catered to the, hey, here's our 3 session beers and here's a strawberry blonde.
oh yeah,
Like a
yeah,
lot of that
yeah,
stuff is catering to the more of the beer nerd
yeah,
than
yeah,
than that.
exactly,
No,
exactly.
it's a good experience. So you'll spend some money if you go there. If you're gonna have like dinner and have some drinks, but it's not bad at all. It's good. I mean, we're spoiled to have it probably that close to us.
Yeah,
So.
exactly, exactly. I mean, because yeah, I mean, I, that's the other crazy thing is like, okay, so really good food, like not only underrated beer, underrated food. That's
Yeah.
a really good meal when you go to TBBC. That's actually a really good meal.
And we remember we interviewed the ownership, and it was like they at first didn't want the restaurant. They just wanted to have the brewery.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
So.
crazy, and it's so funny because that was we talk about sometimes like the evolution of breweries here in this area. Like food is a standard now. Like
It
like
is.
like the only way that you open a brewery without food is just your space is just so small that it's just hard for you to accommodate it. You know.
We're growing to the point where if you want people to appreciate beer, you have to provide some type of edible item to go with it. And they know too that they make more money by selling it that way.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
only
yeah.
not only is food a profit center for them, but it's going to allow them to sell more beer
Yeah,
simultaneously.
yeah,
So.
exactly. And that's the thing that which and the breweries are wanting to have the actual kitchen on premise more because
Mhm.
okay, obviously anybody can do the food truck, and food trucks has its own little culture too, whatever.
Mhm.
Although I think the food truck moment is actually not quite as hot as it used to be, and I think all the COVID stuff is going to actually kind of blow that. I think it's gonna like really kind of dial it down a good bit because people's lack of trust is going to be super high now. Um, but the reason why you want the kitchen on staff is because you control the money and
Mhm.
control the quality. Like,
Yeah, well, but then also it's a profit center too.
yeah,
And it the thing about having a food truck is I think a lot of breweries invite the food truck because they know they can sell more beer if the food truck's there, but they can't control what the truck does, if it shows up, if it goes somewhere else, how long it stays.
yeah. If
The
they're
only
on that
advantage
game
they
that day,
right. The only advantage they have is they don't have to worry about supplying for it, cooking it, watching over what's happening while they're cooking, while it's being cooked. They don't have the liability associated with it, as
Yeah.
well as labor keeping it doing the things it needs to do. Whereas if it's in a brewery, like so many places that we go to, they are responsible for all that. But
Yeah. 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 And that's,
without a doubt, you will sell more liquid if you are selling food.
oh yeah, 100%. Because it's the natural thing. You know.
It's the equivalent of the games that you find in a brewery, or even having a stage in a brewery with music playing. It's the same thing. You
Yeah.
create an
Yeah.
environment where people have a reason to stay longer. They stay
Yeah.
longer, they buy more.
And all those things are all kind of evolving too. It's getting to the point now when if you open a brewery, you need to actually be thinking about like, okay, what the hell are people going to do here? Not just
Hmm.
going to pick up their beer and go.
Hmm.
And yeah, you got to think about all that shit. Now it'll be interesting to see if COVID changes all of that. Even when you can go back to places, because people automatically jump right in and be like, oh, like, because people say they're gonna like, oh, I'm gonna go. Like, I know the brewery I'm gonna go to when things open up. I know where I'm going, and I'll ask you that question in a minute. Um, and people say that, but if this thing lingers on longer, people might just be like, okay, you know what? I just don't really want to be around a lot of people. And so I'm gonna go to a place where I know it's safe. It's not sketchy. Like, I don't know if this is gonna be the end of the dive bar. This might be the end of the dive bar.
Well, dive bars exist because single people still exist. I don't know if you're going to see like this tidal wave of people ready to jump back in as soon as breweries are like, okay, doors are open, come in and hang out. Um, and then in terms of what type of breweries do I want to go to, um, I don't know if my buying habits are really going to change that much. I feel like I still want to go to the places that have the product that I want. And it may not be because I'm going there expecting to sit around and hang out. I mean, I don't spend very much time inside breweries as is, and honestly, COVID hasn't really changed that much. Um, I think it will have some impact though on the food side. What you may see is you may see restaurants that just simply can't afford to reopen, that may just turn into a food truck, and then hopefully build revenue and maybe come back to finding a location and going back.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I don't think the trust aspect is going to really be things that really hamper food trucks. I think people see a food truck, it smells good. They see people looking to purchase food outside of it. Everyone seems to be eating. No one's keeling over, grabbing their stomach and
Yeah.
pain. I think people are willing to give food trucks a try, and they'd be willing to give restaurants a try too. But I'm really curious to see how many restaurants are going to be able to just basically go back in there and flip the sign around that says open.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just like any, you know, financial calamity, recession, this stuff, anything, not everybody makes it.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
just
especially
reality.
this is literally what you would call expendable income, because you're not putting your primary income into going to a restaurant. This would
Yeah.
be your expendable income. So if people can afford it, number one, as long as they can, well, then there's a market for it. Then is there something about you that they want to come there and buy? Now, in this case, that's already been answered because all these places already exist. They already have
Yeah.
a customer base. The customers just want the restaurant to be open so they can come in and start having what's the special, what's the chef doing, and all these things.
Yeah.
Um, how bad are they taking on the teeth right now, though, in order to keep paying their mortgage? Or are they not paying their own mortgage? Are they not able to because their restaurant's not open?
Yeah.
Are they literally like right now? I think the funding dried up on the PPP. So were
Yeah.
people paying their employees as long as they could, maybe putting out, maybe willing to take out whatever equity they have in their house to do it? And then are they
Yeah.
not going to be able to afford to do it anymore? And it comes down to, do you keep the restaurant and your employees, or do you actually have a house to live in?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm worried that there's people out there who are going to make some really hard decisions, and we'll we'll have to take a look and see. And here we are, April 18th, talking about something that we don't know if it's going to be September 18th, it's going to be July 18th, it's going to be
Yeah. That's the
December 18th.
That's the thing. You don't know. And the indefiniteness of this is obviously at the heart of what's, the like there's a physical coronavirus and then there's the psychological
Yes.
crisis,
Yeah, I
so
agree. Yeah.
yeah.
like we always say, nothing's 100% of anything. So
Nope. Nope,
so
not at
if you're
all.
if you're drinking the Kool-Aid all the way, saying no, it's this flavor, well, someone's got you.
Mm,
If you say it's this flavor, well, someone's got you.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I think you'll see probably more, maybe not the level you're seeing right now, but you'll still see probably more takeout than it's been for a
yeah,
while. But eventually, people are going to be comfortable enough to where they want to start to partake in their what was their previous mo, what was their previous routine.
yeah, yeah,
That's what I would imagine would happen. But again, timetables and trying to define timetables of what that's going to be like, and then there's probably a point where desperation comes into play.
yeah.
Because
Well,
if half the restaurants in the city are literally talking to whoever their commissioner, counselor, whoever they are locally, whoever they go to, that look, if we can't open our doors by July 1, we're just going to go ahead and we'll tell you now, we're just going to go ahead and shut down.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's a conversation they maybe haven't even had already. I don't even know.
Maybe so. I mean, that's the part that's tricky is that, how, because what is basically the reality is right now you're doing takeout. If you're open, you're doing takeout
But
completely.
they're making a fraction of what they were making before. They have to.
Exactly, exactly. So like that's your only revenue, period.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming that if you subscribe, if people you can use Uber Eats or DoorDash to get your food, that the restaurant is paying something to them. Maybe I don't know. I honestly I'm ignorant to that fact. I actually don't know how that works. But if that is the case, then that's a piece of revenue loss. It's not like the local mom and pop restaurant up the street has their own delivery drivers driving the
Right.
crap to you. So there's a cost involved to that. It's can you weather that storm? Can you sustain business for that long, only selling takeout, so that when you can't open, whenever that is, that you can open?
Hmm.
There obviously there's no answer to that question. You can speculate, like if your
Well,
expenses weren't
they're
high.
trying. I think they're trying to right now. They're probably operating with skeleton crew, is what I would
Yeah,
imagine, and they're trying to keep costs down. They probably don't have all of their items normally available. Probably not being offered. They're probably just offering what the core products that they can sell,
yeah,
which makes sense. And then, yeah, they're trying to sustain, and they're probably losing their ass right now, even
oh
trying to
yeah,
sustain. So, at what point do we get to where literally the majority of restaurants that are not corporate owned will just basically say this is just pissing in the wind. We're not Nothing's being accomplished here other than I get to keep some of my essential employee staff. But if
yeah,
I can't afford to pay them and actually, like, if I'm going to lose my house, I'm sorry, the restaurant's going away.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I think people are doing, because they'll say, I'll just wait until this thing is over with, and I'll just go ahead and I know how to run a restaurant. I can find someone to fund it. I'll just find another location, give a different name, start over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which
Which is why I think that's why I think the food trucks might they might come back into play because of that.
maybe so. Maybe that's, yeah. From that standpoint, possibly. But transitioning out to breweries, what do you think the impact on breweries of this?
I think very similar. I think the ones that are distributing and like TVBC, I think is being affected, but not at like at the level as say like rap,
Yeah, or
um,
610.
or 610. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I only picked 610 because they're roughly similar part of the town.
Mhm. But that
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Or
I think
Wild
it's affected.
Rover.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Wild Rover also sells food. It's like 610 doesn't. So 610 has to make the beer and sell it, but 610 doesn't probably distribute anywhere near the level like TBBC does.
Yeah,
And Wild Rover, I don't think it distributes at all.
they don't distribute at all, I don't
Right. So
think.
so so people if people can't come in there and get and I I mean I live very close to Wild Rover and I haven't driven by.
Yeah.
I wonder, are they doing crowlers? Did they invest in a crowler, or are they just basically waiting until it's all passes over?
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting thought because that hadn't been their model. Like the almost
Right.
Wild Rover is almost a bad example because they're kind of an atypical brewery as far as breweries go. Like they make good beer. You feel like you only get it on premise. but I really feel their focus is the food
Yeah.
and
Well,
like,
they're a brew pub. They're not a brewery.
yeah, yeah,
They're a brew pub. You can come there and have beer. They make beer and they sell it. You're not going to see it in a can at Publix or Winn-Dixie.
yeah, yeah, or
But they
ABC
would
or
they'd prefer you come there and probably have a meal and
yeah,
have two beers while you're there, and maybe have a bread pudding afterwards. And
yeah,
that's their deal. It's its own style. You kind of know what to go when you get there. You know, like if you like bangers and mash, you're gonna have that. If you like Scotch eggs, you're gonna maybe do that.
yeah,
Um, they probably have rotating type soups and stuff, and they have rotating beers. And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
and a lot of it's cask style, which you're not going to be able to get. Like in this market, it's the only place around I can think of that even has cask beer.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I would think they're probably losing their ass right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think a lot of breweries are. I mean, obviously, it's a big deal is being made of the fact that okay, go there and get crowlers and growlers. That's the only thing you can do.
That's the big push. The breweries that are set to do that and we're doing that already, that's exactly what they're pushing because that's the
Yeah,
only way they can sell liquid.
yeah. And then on social media, the people who kind of do what we do are really kind of pushing people to do it. And it's almost for a little. It's kind of died down a little bit now, but there's almost sort of like a rush on their stuff. Like if you looked on social media, you'll see people like buying cases of different beers from different breweries. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I stocked up on all my beer. Which if you're looking at like a case of beer from say like a Seventh Son, I mean, you're talking like freaking $100 worth of beer.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
and people doing stuff like that. But that's it though. Like that's the only thing that they have. Obviously, and I've been to a few places now. Like I went to Hidden Springs a few weeks ago, and I've been to Bay Canyons a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Basically, it's just one person there that's doing
Yeah.
fulfillment.
Right. Yeah, like
Like,
I said, they're basically running skeleton crew
yeah, yeah,
because they can't afford to keep full staff.
yeah.
They can't.
They don't need it right now. You don't need one person.
Right.
You need to continue brewing stuff, and you need one person to fill crowlers, to do crowlers and growlers.
Pretty much.
My guess is that not none of these breweries have the full complement of what's been available. I know initially Angry Share is making a big deal at what was available when all this first went down, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like a handful of stuff, and I think it sold out super quick because everybody loves Angry Share. But I don't think that they are like continuing on like that. They're like if Angry Share, I put it this way: if Angry Share had like say 12, 15 things on tap, which I think that's somewhere accurate, about 15 to 20, right? You will probably only get like maybe 8 of that.
Okay.
And I know with like the best example I know for sure is Bay Canyon because I've been there a couple of times. They typically look to have like something like 10 things on tap, and I think you can only get like 5 of them. And they're like core tenants like the Xander, their IPA, the
Mm-hmm.
Cara, which is their stout, which is actually really good, and like a handful of other little things like that. So it's just going to be interesting to see how can they keep it going. Can they keep? I mean, obviously, if you're distributing, you are going to keep it going because people aren't. Publix is open. You're not going to stop drinking beer. Drink more of it now. Actually, tell you
Yeah.
the truth.
As long
But
as
if
you can
you,
afford to. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that hurts them is can their customers afford to come in and do it? Even, although they say even in bad times in the economy, bad times or whatever, that alcohol and prostitution, things like that always go up.
yeah,
So it's possible that even though people can't afford to do it, they're just doing it and saying, ah, fuck it. I'm just going to go drink beer.
yeah, yeah,
Go in
yeah.
debt and drink beer.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
If you take this
So
house from me, it's going to have empty cans in it. So
all over the place,
all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to them. I know there's a lot of there's a grassroots support for these breweries, and I think they're. I mean, I guess they're the same thing with restaurants, but I know is for breweries. People are really like gotta
I think they
support our
are, but
breweries.
I'm also wondering how many have been able to take advantage of getting financial assistance. I think because there's the PPP and then there was like another also there was two different programs that also
Yeah,
helped assist small businesses,
yeah,
and I gotta think that some of the people who are running these businesses were on there immediately applying trying to get funding.
yeah,
Um, but even if they're able to get 100% of the money they need, it would still make sense to cut their workforce simply because they just don't need their entire workforce. And it's
Yeah.
not because they dislike these people or don't respect them. It's just a matter of we're basically paying you to do what?
Yeah.
If we don't have a floor to sweep, why would we pay you
Yeah.
just to pay
Yeah.
you?
We don't have customers to serve.
Correct. I mean,
So
it's you could say it's cold-hearted, I guess, but it's just a matter. That's how it is. If I don't have a job to give you, I'm just paying you to not have a job.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the hard part of all this. That's why all this sucks. Is some people literally they can't marketable skills. Like if you were just serving people and now there's no one to serve, then
Yeah.
you don't have a
If
job.
there's no one to serve, there's not a table to clean.
Yeah, and
There's not a table to clean. There's not a job to clean the table. There's not a person to pay to
no
clean that
dishes to
table.
bus. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
and so it's yeah, no,
You're going to see churn. You're going to see places that go out and don't come back. But I do think those licenses are very expensive. And I think that even if a place is going to shut their doors and not reopen, or they don't have the funding yet to reopen, or they're trying to get the funding to reopen that they need, I think you'll see someone else come in and do it.
yeah, yeah. That's true. If someone will take advantage, 'cause that's the other sentiment that you see out there. Is that okay? Now because people have gotten sophisticated enough to realize, even though this is an exceedingly scary time, and you'll hear the word over and over again. I'm tired of hearing it. The word unprecedented. Yeah,
Yeah.
even despite all that, like there is a sentiment that like, okay, this is the time to take advantage of business. Like,
Mhm.
like freaking X amount, like a ton of businesses that everybody started in some type of level of recession. And like me, including like Microsoft and freaking Google and all these businesses, Atari started in the recession,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Right. So yeah. So there is something of that, like, okay, hey, some people are going to be like, this is the time to freaking start.
If you have the liquid, yeah, I agree, man. Like, I mean, I've always said I'd like to have a beer bar. Um, I think if my business if my business had grown specific amounts, maybe, or to certain levels in the last 3 to 5 years leading up to this, and that I was not hurting financially at all from this, which I'd say right now I'm not. But let's just say let's say I had 2 3 times the level of business and I still wasn't hurting.
Yeah.
Um, I would probably look at what do I have liquid available. I wouldn't want to take a loan simply because I feel like there's businesses out there that need that loan more than I do.
Yeah.
But if I had the liquid, yeah, I would say this would, in the next 6 months there'd probably be an opportunistic opportunity to go out and grab someone's location, get that license and just open it up and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But but that would take some risk. Obviously, it'd
Yeah.
take some diving in to do it. I don't have the liquid that I would say would make sense to do that with.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, I agree with what I think you're alluding to, and there's opportunity to be had, and there are people who have the liquid that want to do that.
Yeah, yeah. That
So,
that will that will
mhm. And I think you're gonna see some people who probably they've been employed at a brewery, been working either as an assistant brewer or a head brewer for a while. Maybe they're not telling anyone because they're just happy to have their job.
yeah,
But I really think they could be communicating with a money man or woman, and
yeah,
then preparing for that when this goes down, we're gonna find our spot. We got our spot. It's on
yeah.
because
Oh,
there's definitely gonna be motivated sellers.
yeah, yeah. That's true, and it'll be interesting kind of see what happens.
I was say, yeah, I think
Um,
the fallout from that would be an interesting conversation. Is that are you going to see quality go up? Is quality going to go down? Like if the bigger fish are going to eat some of the smaller fish, what's the output?
yeah, yeah. That's my natural inclination to say it would be to say that quality would go up, but
I would think so too, but it might not. It's hard to say.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, because I would feel like the reason I would say it would is because you got to think. All right, so there's X amount of breweries out here, and I
Hmm.
think in the Bay Area there's like a couple hundred, whatever.
Hmm.
Not all of us can support all of them.
Yeah.
Period. In the story.
Hmm.
So it's going to come down to loyalty. You
Yes.
know.
Which is why it's so important to have your local brew place that has a tasting room that
Yeah.
you want to go and partake in being there. And I think that's kind of what the traditional business model has become.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing, and so it'll just be interesting to see like who will people support and who people won't support, and and some of it's going to be reputation, some of it's going to be quality, some of it's going to be reputation.
Some's got to be competition. A place like Marker 48, I think, will have no problem as long as they can afford to keep the doors open. They'll have
Yeah,
no problem having people come right back in because where else are they going to go?
yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, Honestly, the places that might take a hit are those places in St. Pete
I would say Dunedin. I
and
think
Dunedin.
if
That'd be
you're
the
if
other one.
you've been competing and reliant on spillover people to keep your doors open, you're going to need some people to help. You're going to need some financial assistance to keep things going.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just gonna be, it's like kind of like the whole thing, like, you know, the thing that you live by, you kind of sort of can die by it too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
certain places, like they're benefiting from the foot traffic and the fact that we are a beer district.
hmm,
Like people come here for beer. People don't necessarily
yes,
go to Wikiwachi for beer,
right.
but they do come to downtown St. Pete and downtown Dunedin for beer.
I agree.
But then if it's a situation like, okay, so now all the competition, all that foot traffic is over. Maybe you don't have that reputation. Maybe you're benefiting in the reputation of the area, not your own reputation.
Yeah,
That could be a problem. And
yeah,
then there's a real
coattails.
also physical problem that like the whole thing with people coming back. You know, Marker 48 might be able to open quicker because there's maybe because it's not as populated an area and people just can and things can loosen quicker. St. Pete's pretty densely populated. You
It
know,
is.
may take them longer to open. To just get back to it. People do not want people to just automatically just congregate in downtown St. Pete the way they've been congregating. Not immediately.
It could be as simple as just money. It might be who has gotten it, who has been able to get money or to get financial help, and who hasn't.
Yeah, yeah. And leases are more expensive. Property's more expensive in St. Pete than
Mhm.
it is in
And not to
for
mention a business decision. People who are in a lease and said that I like my business, I like the people I got working for me. The only thing I don't like is where I chose to set it up and what I'm paying for it. And you know what? Now I got my chance. I can just declare bankruptcy now and fix that and get out of this lease.
yeah, yeah.
So you'll see instantly our friend out in Tarpon Springs comes to mind. Like I could have seen him maybe using this as an opportunity to say, you know what, the timing's right. It's a sign.
Yeah, if he hadn't made the decision already, he probably would have made the decision.
This
Yeah,
this one may have made it for him.
yeah,
Shout out to
yeah,
Bob.
for
To Bob.
sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah, Bob. So,
May
but yeah,
retirement do you well.
yeah, exactly. Enjoy retirement, man, man. All right, so let's end this on a couple of positive notes. All right, so
Okay.
first of all, COVID-related beers. It's a thing. I mean, COVID
It is.
themed. I'm sorry, not
I
related. Like you
I
can't get COVID from it.
and I think it'll probably take a year or longer before it gets old.
It probably will. Oh my God. Yeah. It's gonna get this shit ain't getting old for any time soon, right? All right. So I'm gonna decide if I can share my screen here. Let's see if I can do this. Technology, folks. All right, yes. So let me see. Can you see this?
You started sharing your screen, and then yeah, there we go.
Oh, am I showing it's showing everything though. It's showing like a
Yep.
Google search too, right?
No, it's a photo. You just have like a photo item that's open that I see.
Okay, so the Quentin Quarantino.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I think it's like a double IPA or something like that.
But I think you probably have to be at this brewery to know it exists. Like, I don't think you're going to see this thing distributed.
No, no, no. I don't think so, unfortunately. It would be great if they did. I'm sure it's getting lots of play on social media right now.
But it's
Um,
so smart too. Like the 8.2 ounces is probably what the ABV is, and how they're using toilet paper to actually come to that
yeah,
weight.
the art is on point. This is brilliant. Like this is absolutely brilliant. I'm trying to see if I could share. I've got two more here. Tell me what you see.
I'm still seeing the same photo. I think if you go off to the right, you might be able to like, if you go take your cursor out to the right, you might be able to scroll through whatever you had in
Oh
there, or
yeah.
I could be wrong. It could be a matter you have to physically go to where all the photos are.
Yeah,
But
it's not letting me do it. But I am going to show my next one here is the all right. All right. So this is a Wisconsin brewery.
nice. Yep,
the
absolutely.
fuck COVID beer. So now I believe fuck COVID is a I think it's like a lager or something like that. I have to look. As
I've seen this because, but then again, I do spend a lot of time on Twitter. Yeah, it's a lighter beer that I know.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's kind of like an all day, whatever it was like an all day drink. It was either a session or a lager.
yeah, yeah,
It was something that was like a 4% beer.
yeah. So I think they may drink it lighter in Wisconsin. Home of
Um,
Milwaukee.
I think they want to see if they can sell lots of it. Is what it seemed like, but who knows?
Who knows? I would love to get these guys on the show.
Sure,
I'd love to.
why
And
not?
hey, if they have access to Zoom, like now is more than ever. You can have anybody on our show now. Like you
Yeah.
got Zoom, you can be on our show. I'll loop you in. So all right, and then the last one, if I can find it, may not be able to do the last one because I think for whatever reason it's not. I don't see it among my choices. So it wasn't there. It wasn't particularly good. There's a brewery called Wild Leap. It's right outside of. It's like an Atlanta. It's like an Atlanta area brewery, and they had a beer named after the Dr. Fossey. Something. I have to see if I can find it right quick. This. Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, I wish I could show this, but I another time. Another time. Fossey Spring, and then the other one's called Don't Stand Too Close to Me.
It's funny. That guy's probably spent. I mean, I'm guessing he's probably like in his late 60s or early 70s, and he's probably been doing what he does for decades. And
Yeah.
he probably never thought ever in his life that he was going to be as famous. I guess for positive and negative reasons, I guess, depending upon however you look at things. He probably never thought he was going to be this famous in his life, and was probably totally content with that.
He probably was fine. He's just a doctor doing his thing, and then he was a
Mm-hmm.
head of immunology and just
Mm-hmm.
a researcher in
Yeah,
essence, or really the leader of the researchers.
correct. Yeah, and
He
he's
probably
worked for
just lived.
several presidents and was never replaced by a president, and probably never thought that he's like, yeah, they're happy what I'm doing. I'm doing this, and in his community, it's him and it's all him and doctors. So everyone he who answers to him is probably like a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's interesting that this occurred and instantly he's almost like a celebrity.
He is the face of like COVID policy,
Mhm.
or COVID
Yeah,
education, I guess. It is kind of interesting, like an unintended consequence of which, there obviously is anything learned from COVID is there's a million little unintended consequences, and that's
yeah,
one of them. So,
yeah.
um,
That's something though that a brewery is literally naming a beer after him. You know, it's
yeah,
like what were the odds of that a year ago?
zero, zero. Yeah, so that's insane, man. But all right, so I will end with this, and I hope this can be a regular segment. I love to get Smooth J and
Yeah,
Justin on. I reach out to
absolutely.
them and see because this is actually really easy to do.
Sure.
It's crazy easy. Um, okay, so when the breweries do open up, assuming everything's open, where are you going?
Oh, well, I mean, again, current stage of my life, I'm not able to make as many on-site visits as I would like to. So I'd probably have to cash those chips into an evening that would make sense. Uh, so I would probably be hanging out with someone like yourself. So I would say it'd probably be centered around that. Um, it'd be nice to probably have like a destination in mind, as in like, I haven't been here and I really want to go there, but I kind of see it more like I'd want something more tried, true, and trusted. And it also who opens and who is doing a good job of marketing about, hey, we're open and we're releasing this and this. Please come here.
Yeah.
So I would probably have to keep that a little bit close to the vest. I can't say there's one place that absolutely I'm going to go here. I mean, clearly I'm going to TBBC even during this. So I'd
Yeah.
have no issues about going back there even when they're open. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it kind of feels like a moving target.
Well, I mean, it's a pie in the sky type thing, like a what if, whatever. I mean, things gonna open. The reality is things are gonna stagger open. They're not like nothing. They're not gonna. They would say, okay, doors open May 31st.
If the
I
world's
think
my oyster, we Smooth J comes in and hangs out with us. We can invite some other people too, and maybe we do a Dunedin live walking tour on Facebook.
that would be cool. That would be cool. And it'll be the first time I've been to Dunedin in a while,
Mhm.
years
I mean,
actually.
like, if I'm just picking it out, say, fine, we're gonna go here, we're gonna hit these spots, we're all gonna hang out together, we're gonna, go places and document where we went and have stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and hopefully they know we're coming and they take care of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Well, for me, and I sort of answered this question before, but I think I've since changed it and I've answered it a little bit. I got asked on social media and I've answered it. Okay, so there's a restaurant I will go to, but that's a whole other thing.
Okay.
Um, in terms of breweries, there is two for sure choices and one kind of honorable mention.
Okay.
For sure, I am going to what are both either Zydeco Brew Works
Hmm. Good
or
people,
Seventh Sun
good
in
food,
Seminole
good beer.
Heights
Yeah,
for
yeah,
different
that'd be good too.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for different reasons. Zydeco, I'm going because of the whole experience. Because I want the mac and cheese. I want a Pablo. I want to sit in a nice, cool place with a good energy.
Hmm.
That I'm going to Seventh Sun because I want top line, high end, really high end beer. And I want stuff that I can't get anywhere else. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna drink a headbanger
Yeah.
for sure.
We
You,
know what's
you
fun
know,
about Seventh Sun is because I've been to both locations, and I feel like Seventh Sun in Dunedin is like nothing but hops or sours or things. And then I feel like Seventh Sun in Seminole Heights is nothing but big heavy beers.
yeah, yeah. It's
It,
yeah,
it feels like not even
focus
the
is
same
different.
brewery sometimes.
Yeah, it's interesting how their focus is so different, but yeah, it is quite different there, quite different. But so I'm going there, and then my honorable mention is TBB Co.
Okay.
Like, yeah, Ebor West Chase doesn't matter. Get a plate of wings, something hoppy.
Well, I mean, granted, we're talking about this on the air, but opportunity for us, I think, would be as soon as we know that specific regulations are going to be loosening, we reach out to TVB Co. and say, hey, we want to come here and do a Facebook Live. We want to put it out there. We want to promote, help you guys. And all we got to do is just give us a tab.
Yeah, yep. Mike, you heard it here first. No, no,
That might be worth it for us to help them get people to come rushing back in the door. Or who knows, the second that the announcement's made that we might get trampled, it might be like, Black or Black Friday. Who
yeah,
knows?
right. I
But it
know.
wouldn't
Who
hurt for
knows?
us to at least try, maybe have that already prepped in advance. Say, hey, we know the restrictions are lifting. We want to come in and we want to show up and be here on the same day and blow it out. And they
Like
might be like,
prohibition. Yeah,
exactly.
like
And they're like, all right, fine, we'll
ending.
give you guys $100 or whatever. Come in, have some food, have some beers, whatever. Just promote. Like,
So
you got
yeah, so we'll see. We will see about all of that. I'd be happy to be there. I'd be happy to spend some money.
it.
Um, yeah, I'd be happy just to have some normal stuff going on. It's been a
And
long
also, don't
time.
don't forget, it takes them time to produce because by the time they're ready to promote, they don't want half their taps running. They want everything filled up, ready to go.
Yeah,
So that means that it would take time, probably post the announcement coming out, for them to actually produce
yeah,
to have enough
it's true. Brewery's a little
inventory to
different.
fill
Yeah,
out.
Can't just automatic. You're not automatically
Right.
ready for capacity,
Right.
so
Yeah, it's not like you're going to change the menu overnight and then reopen the next day and have a whole new menu and all the food was there. It's like, no, it's going to take time to brew.
yeah, true. That is true. That is true. So we shall see. But it's just fun to think about that. But Kevin, it's so good to see you. It's been a long time.
Glasses are empty.
Glasses are almost empty. So
Almost.
for now, but no, so just it was good to see you. I've
You too,
gotten turned the
brother.
recording off now, so glasses are empty, mics are off. This is the Craft Beer Baller.